relive one of Dragon Ball Z's most defining battles. This is the story of the Cell Saga. It all began with a warning from the future. A young warrior named Trunks traveled back in time with a dire message. In 3 years, two devastating androids would appear, bringing about the end of the world. Even with this foreknowledge, when androids 19 and 20 arrived, the Z fighters were caught off guard. Goku, the Earth's strongest defender, was struck down by a crippling heart virus, just as Trunks had predicted. Vegeta, fueled by his new Super Saiyan power, managed to destroy Android 19, but the real threat was yet to reveal itself. The true androids from Trunks' timeline, the deadly Android 17 and 18, finally activated. Accompanied by the stoic Android 16, their power was unlike anything the heroes had ever faced. They were not driven by world domination, but by a chilling, almost playful desire for destruction. They effortlessly dismantled Vegeta, Trunks, Piccolo, and Tien, leaving a trail of defeat and despair. Not even Earth's strongest heroes were prepared for their terrifying power. The Z fighters were forced into a desperate retreat, realizing they needed to surpass the very limits of a Super Saiyan to even stand a chance. As the Z fighters desperately trained in the hyperbolic time chamber, a place where a year passes in a single day, a more sinister threat emerged from the shadows. A grotesque, insect-like creature appeared, leaving entire cities devoid of life. This was Cell, a bio-android from another, even more desolate future timeline. Created by the brilliant but twisted Dr. Gero, Cell was a genetic masterpiece, possessing the cells of Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Frieza, and King Cold. His one singular purpose was to absorb Android 17 and 18 to achieve his perfect form. Cell was a hunter, stalking his prey and absorbing the life force of innocent people to grow stronger. Piccolo, now fused with Kami to become a whole Namekian once more, confronted this new menace. Their battle was fierce, but Cell revealed his terrifying origins and his ultimate goal be for making a tactical escape. The Z fighters were now fighting a war on two fronts, against the ruthless androids and against the monstrous Cell, who was hunting them. The tension was unbearable as Cell closed in on his targets, his power growing with every victim he consumed. The race against time was on. Cell tracked down the androids, leading to a massive confrontation. Despite Piccolo's and Android 17's best efforts, Cell's power, boosted by thousands of absorbed humans, was too great. He absorbed Android 17, transforming into his second, more powerful form. Just as he was about to absorb Android 18, Vegeta and Trunks emerged from the hyperbolic time chamber, their power elevated to an entirely new level. Vegeta, in his new ascended Super Saiyan form, completely dominated the semi-perfect Cell, but Vegeta's pride became his downfall. Goaded by Cell, who promised a better fight if he reached his perfect form, Vegeta allowed the monster to absorb Android 18. This catastrophic mistake unleashed a being of unimaginable power. Perfect Cell was born. His speed, strength, and confidence were absolute. He effortlessly defeated Vegeta and then Trunks. But instead of destroying the Earth, Cell, in his ultimate arrogance, proposed a tournament. The Cell Games. The rules were simple: fight him one-on-one. If all of Earth's champions were defeated, the planet would be destroyed. The Z fighters had 10 days to prepare for their seemingly inevitable doom. The world held its breath as the Cell Games began. The first challenger was the flamboyant but ultimately outmatched Hercule Satan, who was swatted away like a fly. Then, the moment everyone was waiting for arrived. Goku, having completed his training in the hyperbolic time chamber, stepped up to face the perfect warrior. Their battle was a breathtaking clash of titans that shook the very planet. Goku, using his instant transmission to launch surprise attacks, pushed Cell harder than anyone had before. It was a dazzling display of martial arts mastery from both fighters. But in a move that shocked everyone, including Cell, Goku suddenly forfeited the match. He admitted he couldn't defeat the perfect being. However, he hadn't given up hope. He had been gauging Cell's power, testing his limits for the true champion he had been training all along. Goku calmly announced his successor, betting everything on a new hero, his own son, Gohan. A hesitant Gohan entered the ring, unsure if he had the power or the will to fight. Cell, amused and annoyed, decided to force the Woe's hidden potential to the surface through sheer brutality. Cell's cruelty knew no bounds. He unleashed a horde of Cell Juniors, miniature versions of himself, to attack the exhausted Z fighters. Watching his friends and father being tortured, Gohan's gentle nature began to crack. The final push came from the peaceful Android 16, who tried to self-destruct to stop Cell, only to be ruthlessly destroyed. His final words to Gohan, pleading with him to let go and protect the living world, were the spark that ignited the flame. Pushed beyond the brink, Gohan's hidden tower exploded in a storm of grief and rage. He transcended, his hair flashing gold, his aura crackling with lightning. In that moment, he became the first Super Saiyan 2. The gentle bow was gone, replaced by an avenging warrior. Gohan's power was absolute. He was so fast that Cell couldn't even see him move. He dispatched the Cell Juniors with single, effortless blows. He then turned his attention to Cell, landing to devastating punches that not only wounded the perfect warrior, but also forced him to regurgitate Android 18, causing him to revert to his semi-perfect form. In a desperate, final act, Cell began to self-destruct, threatening to take the entire planet with him. In a heroic act of ultimate sacrifice, Goku used his instant transmission to teleport himself and Cell to King Kai's planet, saving the Earth but losing his own life. But the nightmare wasn't over. In a shocking twist, a single cell of the villain survived the explosion. Thanks to his Saiyan cells, Cell regenerated, returning to his perfect form, now more powerful than ever and with the ability to use instant transmission. He returned to Earth instantly, killing Trunks with a single blast. Just as all hope seemed lost, and as Vegeta launched a futile attack in a fit of rage, Gohan, with one arm badly injured, prepared for one last stand. With encouragement from his father speaking to him from the other world, Gohan gathered all of his remaining energy and unleashed a final, desperate Kamehameha. Cell fired back with his own. The two beams clashed in a monumental struggle that would decide the fate of the entire universe. The beam's struggle was a war of wills. Gohan faltered, his power draining, but Goku's spirit urged him on, telling him to release all his power without fear. Fueled by his father's words, the memory of his friends, and the love for his world, Gohan poured every last ounce of his being into the blast. His power, amplified by love and sacrifice, finally overwhelmed Cell's, engulfing the monster and obliterating him down to the very last cell. The Earth was saved. The Cell Saga proved that true strength comes not from a thirst for power, but from the courage to protect others and the love in one's heart. What was your favorite moment from the Cell Saga? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more epic Dragon Ball content. Thanks for watching.